see if it works.
I can
Excuse me.
probably log on and see if I can view it on my phone. Once you get it going.
It's going right now. Hello, people. We were just sitting here. We have a few minutes before our CMI starts. There's a few of us here right now, and we have a couple more people coming later. I'm just making sure that this all works. I'm gonna get out my phone really quickly and check to make sure that this is working right. I hope you all are having a good day. I have a pretty good lesson coming up, I think. We shall see, but I think I do. It looks to be working, believe it or not, right there. My phone should die like in 3, 2, 1, something like that. I think I do. Oh, that's funny. But, yeah, there we go. This is actually a small milestone in our CMI. This is the first time we will be videoing the length of our lesson and also live streaming. So whoever is watching this, I'm glad you're watching. I guess it's you. Is it you, Sam? Yeah. Sam is watching it. I can see it.
Okay.
It's funny.
That's pretty cool.
It's quite entertaining standing here from my point of view. Thank you. We have about a minute until we start. I'm glad all of you are here today.
Do you want to leave this door?
You can shut it if you want to.
Did you put a link on Facebook?
No, I just said you can. I just told you what to search it up. Search it. If you search the motto Berea CMI, did it come? Or Berea call it?
Put some on Facebook.
Yeah, I did. I actually have somebody who's already shared it, but he's not watching it. Funny how that works out. Close the other one first. No, the other one.
Close the other one that's open.
Now close that one.
I got you.
You may have to lock it at the top.
Yeah.
See if can you lock it at the top or bottom? No, on the door.
For sure.
Now you can shut the other one. Excuse me, I have a small cold or whatever you'd like to call it. I know. It's riding my bike and it was very cold outside and my lungs are on fire. So I apologize for anything that comes up today. We are going to start here in just 1 second. We're going to have Brother Sam Dunn pray for us, pray for the lesson today and for all of our people who watch this. Sam, would you like to pray?
Dear God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together again, God, and to know your word and just to be in fellowship, God, with those who are wanting to know more about you. Just ask you to just anoint this lesson in Jesus' name. Amen.
Man. Okay. I'm going to be reading off my computer, so if you see me watching that, that's why. Today's lesson is entitled The Motto. The definition of a motto is a short sentence or phrase that expresses a rule guiding the behavior of a particular person or group. A strong business with a strong motto, or a business with a strong motto that on a daily basis they remember and place it at their focal point will become a strong business. The motto I'm going to tell you isn't the best and isn't the main point, but it is important to keep on your mind because it'll keep you on the right path and it'll keep your mindset where it needs to be. First, let us go to John 15, 9 through 21. That's John chapter 15, verse 9 through 21. And I'll read this one. It says, "As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. If ye are my friends, ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for a servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask your Father in my name, he may give it to you. And these things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate ye, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world, and the world would love his own, but because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I've said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will also yours. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me." Now let's turn to Luke 22 and 42. Okay, Luke 22 and 42 says, "Saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." Okay. I don't want to, but I will because I love you. I don't want to, but I will because I love you. That is my motto. First, let me start by explaining the I don't want to part. Jeremiah 19 and 7 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" Proverbs 22, 23 through 25 says, "Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Proud and haughty scorner is his name, who dealeth in proud wrath. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor." As a human, we all have to deal with things over a lifetime that we don't want to do. You might not want to do homework. You might not want to go to class. You might not want to go to church because you have too much things to do. You're too busy. You might not want to give tithes because you don't have a lot of money. You might not want to go to outreach because it's 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning and you just went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning and you're tired. I could go on and name countless things that I don't want to do and that you don't want to do, or that I don't like to do. It's not in our heart to do it. But let me remind you of Luke 22 and 42. God is praying in the garden to his disciples, and he moves about a rock's throw from the disciples. And he begins to pray to God, and he says, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. See, what God was saying there, he was like, hey, if you're willing, if you will allow it to happen, can this not happen to me? He wasn't being like, I don't want to do this. I'm not. He was really just like, I wish this didn't have to happen. But luckily God said, nevertheless, my will be done. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And this is a great transition quickly to our second part of the motto, but I will because I love you. This is like God saying, nevertheless, your will be done. In Greek, there are 3 different types of love. I will go over them shortly, really quickly here. Eros love, is like the love between 2 people who like or love each other, a desiring relationship. This is a selfish type of relationship because you do it because you gain a certain feeling, you gain something from it. Philos love. It's like love between friends or brothers or siblings. This love is kind of weak when it comes down to it. In the end, it can always fall apart in some way. And then there's a third type of love that's called agape love. This is a Christ-like love. It's always looking for the best in people and caring about them and their well-being. The motto I speak about is speaking of agape love. This love is saying, I care enough about the future of this person, this place, this building, this church, that I would do it. This love is not easy. Let's go to Luke 6:22 through 36. Let me say it again. Let's go to Luke chapter 6, verse 27 through 36. This is quite a long passage here, so I'm going to read it slowly so I don't make as many mistakes, but we should be able to learn from this. It starts off with saying in verse 27, but I will say unto you which hear, love your enemies and do good to them which hate you, and bless them that curse you, and pray for them that despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on one cheek, offer also the other, and him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. And as ye would that man should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? If sinners also love those that love him? And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners, to receive as much again. But love ye enemies, and do good, and lend, and hoping for nothing again. Your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful, and unto the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, for your Father is also merciful. And let's go to 1 John chapter 4, 6 through 8. It says in verse 6, we are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. heareth us, and he that is not of God heareth not us. Hereby we, the spirit of truth and the spirit of error, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. That he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Okay. Jesus teaches us how to treat others in Luke. And John teaches us that if we love not, we know not God, because God is love. And I think it is very important to remember the motto as we try to live our lives, our Christian lifestyle. Okay, now that I've said a few verses and went over many, many verses, I want to try to bring this back to 1 second. We're back. I'm sorry for that. But I want to bring this back to where I first got this idea. It's like it came to me very personally, and I really want people to understand it and to remember it as they walk through their lives, because it'll help guide them in what they need to do, and it'll help lead them, and it'll help make them better, and it'll help move them out of the circumstances they are in, and it will help push them further than they have been before. All of these things it will help you with. For me, this idea came to me during a worship service at church one day. I was looking at the people who I have an impact on in the church, and people who I want to have impact on in our church. Some of them I wish were different. I wish I didn't have to work with people who have addictions, and I wish I didn't have to work with people who smell bad because they haven't bathed in quite a while. And I wish I didn't have to work with people who smoked, because I hate the smell of smoke. It drives me nuts. But I've learned to do it because I love God and I love them. And at this point in my life, I'm more happy to do these things because I know I can make a difference in their lives. I know that I can help fix their problems, that I can help lead them to a new life. I can help do all of these things. I've gotten over all those issues that would stop me at some point, that would deter me from helping them, because I have the agape love for them. Like I can say to myself, I don't want to, but I will because I love you. I don't want to, but I will because I love what I know can happen to you. And that love that is where I'm looking for anything better, where I'm looking to help you, where I'm not. It's that Christ-like love. I look for the best in you, and I want you to be better, and I want you to be everything that you can possibly be. And that's where that comes in. I want to be able to walk into any community, into any building and a house, any country, any state, any school, no matter whether they have money or don't, whether they are white or black or Hispanic or Asian, European, African, short, tall, skinny, wide, educated, not educated, sick or healthy. I want to be able to walk up and tell them the things of God and the Bible that can make a difference in their lives, because I love them. And truly, when you do love the people who you are trying to make a difference, and you make that difference because you love them, you will make the difference in their life. It may not be as dramatic, it may not be as everything that you want it to be, but you will make a difference in their lives. Just reaching out and saying, I don't want to, but I will go a little bit further because I love you. I don't want to, but I will do this because I love you. I don't want to, but I will do that because I love you. I'm going to say a few more verses, and then I'm going to have a little bit more discussion here, and then we're going to discuss this as a group today. The next verses I'm going to read is Luke 6:10 through 12. And it says, "For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and the labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of the hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises." And then we're going to go to Matthew 9:37. And that says, "Then saith unto his disciples, the harvest is truly plenteous, and the laborers are few." That is pretty much the end of my preparation for this lesson. But I have a few other points that I'd like to talk about for a second. If you use the motto, which is, "I don't want to, but I will because I love you," it will allow you to understand and know certain things a lot better. See, this comes back to where I like to talk about a relationship-based walk with God. Often I talk about between my friends and things that everything is not about religion. Everything is about relationship. It's about your relationship with God. And I believe truly and honestly that you can look to God and you can say to God, "I don't want to, but I will because I love you." That is what a sacrifice is called, in a way of saying it. That is everything that you will ever need to do with God. When it comes to prayer, oftentimes you don't want to because it takes a lot of time and takes effort, and you have to take time away from other things, and sometimes you don't know what you're going to do. It may be hard, it may be difficult, may have had a bad day. But if you can look at it and say, "I don't want to, but I will because I love you." Or maybe it's studying the Word of God in the Bible, which takes a lot of time and takes patience because it's sometimes hard to understand. You can pray for understanding, but still, it takes time to understand the things of the Bible. You can look at that and you can say, "I don't want to, but I will because I love you." It's a sacrifice. Same thing with fasting. If you have trouble with fasting, me, myself, I hate fasting. Can't stand it. I'm not good at it. Never been good at it. But I look at it as a sacrifice. And I look at it saying, "I don't want to do this, but I'll do it because I love you. And I do it because I love the people who I'm praying for when I fast. And I love the church that I'm praying for and fasting for. I love the situations. I love these things." And that helps you with your relationship with God. If you could say, "Man, I've really, really made some mistakes lately. I've really, really done some bad things." And your heart tells you, "No, you don't want to turn to God. You're not right now. You're not perfect." But you can somehow, some way, look to God and say, "I don't want to do this because I'm not feeling it, but I'll do it because I love you, because I know that you are better than this." And that will always help you with your relationship to God. If you wake up every morning and you look to things and you say, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because I love you. And that will eventually turn into where you just naturally do things because you love God. I go to church every Sunday. I go to church every Wednesday because I love God. I go to outreach because I love God, because I love people, because I love this. This has become part of my nature as a Christian. I love people. I try not to do people bad, things like that. It just becomes natural to me. Now let's change that from talking about your relationship to God. Let's talk about your relationship with people and the community and visitors or guests or people who you go do outreach with. If you are able to walk up to them and say the things that you're saying because you love them. See, I try to do a lot of outreach as much as I can. And I've gotten better over time. At first, I was a little afraid of talking to people. I was afraid that they wouldn't accept me, that they wouldn't listen to me. I was young, and I'm still young. I still look very young when I come up to talk to people. But I try to show them love. I try to show them the things of God. I try to be nice to them, and I try to invite them to church. I try to do all of these things. But when you go out to do outreach, and you go out to these communities, and you go out to these houses and people, and you say, I don't want to do this, but I'll do it because I love you. You'll be able to make a difference because that's a sacrifice. And God, it says, for God, Luke 6:10 says, for God is not unrighteous to forget your work and your labor of love, which you've showed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. Ifeanyi, what up?
No, it's better to be late.
I mean, that's true.
Not to show up at all. Yeah, I just we had live at Kaplan this morning, and I got off 6:30, and I was just eating dinner, sat down on my room. I was about to open my book, then I brought my phone, and I saw the message, and I was like, oh my gosh. I just saw it, I was like, no.
Okay. Well, Ifeanyi doesn't know yet. Ifeanyi just walked in, but we are streaming it over YouTube. So you'll be able to go back and watch the first 24 minutes you missed, and that'll be able to explain to you better what we're talking about. But we'll try to run you back through it. I should be able to sum it up quickly. But what I was just talking about, and I just left off, was talking to people outside the church or people inside of the church, just talking to people in general. We're talking about the motto. And the motto that I'm talking about is, I don't want to, but I will because I love you. And see, what we're trying to say here is, when I'm talking about other people and people who when I'm talking about other people and people who don't go to our church and things like that, going to be able to talk to them and minister to them and just be nice to them. It's good to always remember the motto that when we walk out and we do stuff, I might not want to do this, but I'll do it because I love you. And it'll make that difference, because it says, in Luke 6:10, for God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. See, I'm a big person on picturing things and picturing situations and picturing people. And I'm also somebody who, in the same way, I'm very visionary. So as somebody who likes to do outreach and who likes to do church growth things and youth things and things like that, I can look and I can see places where I don't want to be, and people who I don't want to be with, and things, because it's just not naturally not something I naturally want to do, or I may not be comfortable, which makes it something I don't naturally want to do. Like if I was going to go do outreach and I come up to a house that I can just tell that this house is very run down and it looks like there's probably a drug problem in the house, and these people, they don't have jobs, they don't have cars. They're almost the lowest of the low. Like there's very few people lower than them. These are the people who a lot of people will forget about and will not reach out to, will not try to talk to or give them the time of day and all this stuff. But if I'm able to say, I don't want to, but I'll do it because I love you. Like, did I explain to you agape love?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what we're talking about with love. We're talking about like agape love, which is like just looking for the best people, sort of, and it's when you like, it's almost like a Christ-like love. But if I'm able to do that, if I'm able to go to places that I don't look like them, I'm not the same size, I'm not the same skin color, I'm not the same age, I'm not the same economic level, I'm none of that. And you would think that would make me uncomfortable and make me not want to do it. But because I love them, I will go and I will try and I will push and I will move out there to make that difference. So those are the two different types that I was talking about. It'll help with your relationship with God, and it will help with your relationship with people and teaching people and showing people stuff. I'm not really, don't have anything else really to talk about, but I thought this would be a good time. We have about 30 minutes here for discussion, and hopefully we can search further into what I talked about today and gain something from it. So I'm going to open up the table for discussion. Over here we have Ifeani and we have Aaron, and over here we have Sam Dunn. That is all that's with us today. We are missing a few, but hopefully some other people will be able to watch this and like it. So does anybody have anything that they'd like to say about it, or any other verses they'd like to bring up or something?
Yeah, I kind of like that topic. Reaching out to people, especially people you cannot really identify yourself with, but because of the love, you're easy to reach to them. So, but for me, like, what I feel like it's more like a question type. What I want to ask, like, where I'm from in Nigeria, it's easy to reach out to people. For me, like, come on, it's the same culture. I understood them. Nobody feel offended if I say, hey, you want me to preach to you about Jesus? They feel it's normal. Like, it's easy as ABCD for me to rise up in the morning, even with like a loudspeaker, move on the street and preach about Jesus. Nobody says like, this guy, I'm going to call the police. But here, like, it's a big challenge for me because one is a different culture. One is, I don't really understand the system because here you cannot feel like I want to respect people's view. You don't want to offend them. So what I want to ask is, in a situation like that, like, how do you really do it? Where like there is a balance, while you're not like offending the person's views, and you're also trying to share Jesus with the person. Let me just give you an example. Like the place I work now in the hospital is in the emergency room. Like, most of the patients I see are people like suffering from drug overdose or people that want to kill themselves. Now, I had like these two patients, like he was crying, he said, Why I took the bleach to die was because I couldn't see hope anymore. And inside me, I was like, oh my gosh, if I could share Jesus with this person. But I was so scared to do it because in the hospital, you can't bring the topic up unless the patient asks for it. You see, I felt like I want to reach out, but I don't want to break the policy. So that's an example. But something like happened yesterday that really broke my heart. I went to a patient room, like this guy was sick, and he looked at me and the other nurse. He was like, I want to ask you guys, do you guys know Jesus? Like, I stood there, I couldn't talk. When the other nurse left, I looked at that patient and said, I'm a Christian, but I'm really challenged by your boldness to share Jesus with me. Despite you being on this sick bed, I'm the one providing care to you, but I'm not bold to do that. So I just want to ask, how do you kind of balance that when you don't want to offend policies or authorities, but at the same time you want to share the love of Jesus?
I think I've got a relatively good answer for you. It's not great, but I think I have a pretty good answer that could lead you to a better answer. In the Bible, where it talks about God is love, and in God, and love is in God, where it talks about. Let me find the verse really quickly here. We just went over in 1 John 4 and chapter 4 and verse 8. It says, "He that loveth knoweth not God, for God is love," which means that he that loveth not knoweth not God. So if you don't love people, you don't know God, kind of thing. So if you live your life day by day and you just reach out and be a loving person, you will show that like Christ-like love to the people. And from that, it will open up doors to that. And I think if you have such a difficulty in being able to reach out and talk like in the hospital setting, where there's policies and things that hurt your ability to be able to spread the word, I think if you just try to be as loving as possible to the people, that God will open up the doors for that, because it says, like in Luke 6:10, it says, "For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister." I think if you realize that loving people is a sacrifice, that it's like, I don't want to do this, like you said, like his boldness was like greater than yours. You like kind of like you're like got caught off guard. It's like, I don't want to do this, but I will because I love you. And if you look at, I don't want to go the extra step in helping you and in loving you, but you then do go the extra step, I think God will take that as a sacrifice, and God will bless you for that. And I think that God will definitely open up doors for that, because some of the best Christians I've seen are people who just are on a day-to-day basis, just love people a lot, and they just walk around and they show their love towards people. They're always like you think about it, a good Christian is somebody who you just walk up and they're just always like that nice person, just that smiling person, just that happy, and they make your day so much better. It's why, like, when you go to church and stuff, that people like your pastor's wives are always just like the happiest people, and they always just make your day really good. It's because people like that have that good relationship with God, and it just makes it better. And like they themselves just like, I mean, you can just spread Christ with a smile almost. But I think that would be a good way for you to do it, because we don't want to. I don't think it's right to walk around and try to break policy, because I don't think that you have to do that to spread God. I think that you can, like I said, just be loving and just be kind and peaceful. And I mean, you could pray for the people who you see. You may not be able to pray for them right there, but you could pray for them out of there, and God will definitely take that.
And you can even ask that God would open a door up with them so that you can share what you know with them. Ask, can you allow them to mention it or say something so that I can be free from the policy? And so let them open the door and God can lay that on their hearts. But also, just in general, public, where you're not with your job and everything, one of the basic things, easiest way I think is to not offend, is if you just ask, and it's not like pushy way to say, hey, can I pray for you? Or, hey, can I share something about my beliefs or about Jesus with you? And if they say no, you just let it go. So a lot of times, if you ask, that they're open to at least listen. May not go any farther than that, but they're open to at least listen. If you just come across, like he says, a nice person and to smile and not pushy with it, just to calmly ask them. So now, Sister White, I don't know if you've been there enough to know exactly who Sister White is. But a lot of times she's that personality, like you said, always kind of smiling and happy and going, and she works in the school system. So it's still the same kind of way where you can't really say anything. And so she has to take those opportunities when God just opens a door for her to get in there. But because she is that happy-go-lucky person, they're open to receiving, or people are coming to her. Can you pray, or can you do this? And so.
You know what I think I just realized about our video?
What?
I think I had the mic off for the first entire half.
No, really? Because you tested it and it was on unless you turned it off.
Yeah, we heard it like that.
Yeah,
I may have went off at one point.
They have, but it was on when you first tested it. Guess it
Weird.
was doing your feedback on your phone.
I might have pushed. I remember that because I remember that. It's weird. It's true. I don't know. You want to test it out again? See if you can go back in the video. I don't know. But we're just. I'm glad I have one viewer. I don't know who that is, but I'm glad you're here. I think it's just going back. I think one of the important things to do in this, what we're talking about,
So I don't feedback.
okay, is to remember this, because if you don't watch out, I think a lot of the important things that you really need to keep in the front of your mind won't stay there unless you remember it. Because things like our mission statement at church, which is exalt, equip, and engage, which is exalt Jesus, equip the church, and engage the community. If we don't keep that in the forefront of our mind and keep it always there and always focused on it, we'll forget it, and we'll lose our vision for our church and the vision for all the things that we need to do, which would be disappointing, because you think and you're like, wow, I really like that vision, and I can sit there and I can see the things that can happen with that vision. But after time, you'll lose the focus and you won't have it. So I think it's important to remember. You can just remember the motto, or like, if you're like, what do I stand for, or what's something that I really focus on in life? The motto, which is, I don't want to, but I will because I love you. I don't want to, but I will because I love this church. I don't want to, but I will because I love God, kind of thing. It's just that sacrifice and remembering it. Anybody else have anything they'd like to
I
talk
think
about?
that's pretty awesome, like you said in Nigeria, that you're actually able to do that, to so openly talk about Jesus in that way. Because here in the United States, you can talk about God all day. You can talk about God, you can say God's love, but the second you bring up the name is when the offense occurs. And immediately when you said that, I came to the verse. It's in Matthew chapter 11, verse 6. It says, "And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me." So when you go to speak to someone about Christ, there are one or two ways it can go. They can, as Stephen said, I don't really want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about that. Or someone is open. That's potential soul to win. That's someone to witness to. And you are a witness when you are just presenting yourself, when you are being a light unto the world. Because that's what we're called to be. We don't hide that beneath a bushel. The city up on the hill cannot be hidden. I'm not saying it's override a policy, but if the door is open, and the door is more easily open against the sin's head when you are being a witness, when you are shining your light to the world, when you're being kind, when you're being loving.
Oh.
In all these things, these are ways to witness. But Jesus also said it must needs be that offenses may come, because in the world you're going to be offended by something or someone at some point in time. But woe unto the man by which the offense does come. It's something that's going to occur. You shouldn't necessarily feel obligated, though, to hide the gospel. Because, man, I really don't want to step on someone's toes with this. I don't really want to offend someone. Because you're supposed to give the truth. You just tell someone the truth. And if they don't accept it, they don't want to hear it. If they're offended, that's it. You don't necessarily drill it into them and tell them that they're sinning, that they're wrong. Anything like that. Well, tell them they're wrong if they are wrong. But you don't, drive the nail into someone. But you do give them the truth and be honest. And you do so out of love. You do so lovingly. Hey, look, I'm telling you this because I'm in fear of your mortal soul. Because there's an eternity ahead of you. This is something that we have to take into consideration because we were commanded to do this. Jesus said, I have other sheep that are out there that I want to bring into the sheepfold. I think what Sam had suggested is the best thing to do. And as being men of God, that's one thing that is really a separation from the world is, in my opinion, the attitude. Because especially now today, where iniquity is abounding, the love of men is waxing cold. If you can find a man that has natural affection, that has a care and a tender heartedness about him, a godliness. If God is love, what more should we have in us, having the Holy Ghost, than that love, and that agape love, that tender-hearted love? I care about this person because that's a soul, because I'm a soul. And before I was even in the church, someone was praying for me, saying, man, I want to get Aaron in here. I don't want him to be in his sin, because that is the most important thing. It's not all about suit and tie, smile, being there on Sundays and Wednesdays. It's about the call. It's about reaching out. It's about saving a lost world, a lost and dying world. And really it being the last days, last weeks, last moments, whatever you may call it. It's getting closer. Now is the time, and the time is now to go out there. Again, it's a commandment, and I don't necessarily want to be told on Judgment Day, I told you to go and do this, yet you did not do it. But again, I do understand, you have to abide by that policy, so abide by the policy, but I think Sam's suggestion is a very good suggestion. If God opens that door, that's awesome. That's always a great thing. And I think you'll recognize it too when he opens the door. And just take it, especially if the person is willing. It's hard to find a willingness for someone to really want to hear anything about Jesus. sometimes I even try to refrain from saying God, and I want to say Jesus, because if you say God, well, you're going to get is this the God of this doctrine? Is this the God of, that is simply this? We're talking about Christ here. So definitely, if the door is open, take advantage of it, but you do have to abide by those rules in the world. I mean, we are in the world, we are separate from it. But I'd say take Sam's suggestions. Take it.
Okay. I just want to let me see. I don't know. Is it? I just want to read this verse in the scripture. This Acts of Apostles. That's chapter 5. Yes, I'm just trying to find the verse. Okay, verse 28, saying, did not we straightly command you that ye should not teach in his name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. So, why I read this verse is now in terms of reconciling policies, and exactly in some cases where you feel like I need to preach to this person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, I found like I have what this person needs now, and I'm feeling the lead to talk to the person about Jesus, despite it's against policies and it's against the rules.
Right.
So in such situation, what do you really do? I'm trying to reconcile, how we relate to authority in present day and how they did it in the days of apostles. That's where they have a lot of persecutions.
Yeah. I mean, also on the other side note, it is going to be about how bold you are with it. I mean, in the apostles' day, they were in prison for preaching the gospel. I mean, they did go to that point where they did go against the law. They did go against what the authorities were saying. And they were imprisoned for it. And so when it comes to that point, it's going to have to be a call with, are you feeling led by the Spirit to do it? Because if you are, if you feel like you are being led and you have that authority from God to go with it, He will protect you, whether it will be you do lose your job. He'll provide another one. I mean, things will happen because the world's policies are going to combat that. But as we were saying, there's sometimes, you said also, there are some times where you do feel that, and in those times, you should step out of faith. If you feel like an urgency that you need to do, that there's not going to be for this person maybe another day or another chance for this person to find God. But at that point, I mean, it is up to you. God has delivered this person to you for such a time as this. Just like, Esther, she went before the king, could have been killed. Just walking into the room. But she fasted and she prayed and she was full of God, and she knew that either way she had to do it, and God was going to protect her, or she was going to be killed and be with God in heaven. And so that was her consolation, was this or this. And so that's it's just something that you've got to, within you, work out how bold am I willing to go. And it's going to have to be through prayer and fasting, that if I get close to God, the more boldness you're going to get with that.
I got a good verse here. Let me find it that backs up what he's saying.
While you're looking at the verses, I don't know if Lex have a greater faith either want to have a ministry there at the hospital, but you might check and see. You might mention those names to them.
Yeah, we always have they have this pastoral care.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
like these people with
Mhm.
Master of Divinity and all this. So it becomes like about names and degrees and hey, how are you doing? You feeling good? Yes, that's it.
Well, like I said, I know some churches have their pastor it's in the DC that goes and do ministry to hospitals, and so they have the doctor and not just the hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Here's the verse I was talking about. Let me go back to figure out where it's actually from. I just pulled it up. It's from John 15 and verse 20. It says, "Remember the word that I have said unto you, and said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will also keep yours." So, I think it's important for us to remember as we go on in our life here that while we're doing things for Christ, God was a lot better than we are. We will never add up to what he was. He was perfect, and the perfect person was persecuted. And we make a lot more mistakes than the perfect person because we are not perfect. And it says that if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Which is not something that I'm extremely happy about, but I think when you gain the love for God and you understand it, you'll be okay with it, because that just makes me think of all of the end time stuff, and that I could go on and on about that, but it's not good, and I think it's good for the church to keep their eyes where they need to be, and their ears where they need to be, and their feet moving, and their hands working, and that will allow us to be able to make it through this. But like I was saying, same thing with Paul. They were imprisoned, and John was stuck on an island by himself. Pretty awful. It's actually really awful. Yeah, might as well just killed him. Hey, but they came and got him later, much later. But they came and got him. But I think that's really. I mean, we've went over a lot of good points. Also, for anybody who may be watching this at this point, if the first part of the video you cannot hear, I'm going to go back and re-record it, and I will make sure that you'll be able to hear it. That was my fault. It's the first time I've ever done it, so I will get that worked out. Some good key points from our lesson here that we went over is the motto. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because I love you. How I don't want to do it is how it's human nature, and how it says the heart is deceitful above all things. How we could be slothful, how that's natural for us, but we can overcome that because we love what we're trying to work for. We love God. We love the people that we're doing stuff with. And that comes from, that's agape love, which if I haven't told you, is like a Christ-like love. It's pretty much where you're looking for the best in people. It's not like a brotherly love. It's not like a desiring love or relationship love. It's very much, I look at you and I see all the things that you've done, all the things that you can do, and I look for the best in that. And I try to make sure that you can do the best you can at that. And the other 2 points that we finished off with were, if you think about it, this can really help your relationship with God. If you're able to say, this, I may not want to do this, but I'll do it because I love you. I may not want to pray. I may not want to read my Bible. I may not want to fast. I may not want to go to church. I may not want to go to outreach. I may not want to talk to this person. I may not want to do this. but I'll do it because I love you. And then we can take that and apply it to relationships with people. And we can say, I may not want to talk to you. I may not want to see you. I may not want to have anything to do with you. I may not want to have any of this stuff. I may not want to talk to people today. I may not want to work with you. I may not be able to stand you, kind of things. All of those things in life that you're like, oh my God, I can't put up with this. You can put up with it, because if you think about it and you say, but I'll do it because I love you. And that love is honest and that love is true. That will help you make it through your day. And I think we're going to end our lesson for the most part right here with prayer. And we'll have Sam Dunn pray us out of this. And we will be back with you next Monday at 7 p.m. Be here. Find us on YouTube. We'll be there. Here you go, Sam.
God, we thank you for allowing us again to come together as a group to discuss your word and to just to learn more about you and what you want us to be and the love that you want us to show to another and to those, God, that we come into contact with on a daily basis, God. And I ask you to help us to take this lesson and apply it to our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Have a good week, y'all. We'll be praying for you. If y'all have anything you'd like to say, you can comment on it, or you can comment on our Facebook page, which is Awakening CMI, or just search that on Facebook, or you can search Ignite Youth, or you can search my name, Travis Uzzle, or you can search Sam Dunn. If you just message us or do anything on our timeline or on our page, we'll get it and we'll be back with you. If you have any questions, concerns, or any points you'd like to point out, or anything you think would be better, point it out. But we'll be praying for you. Have a good week.